Chad Taylor, Vegas Podcast, VP of Las Vegas. Can we give it up to Dolly? Today I have three things that I want to talk about. Number one, I want to talk about the comments that are coming through on the shorts that I'm cutting up and putting across the 6 social media platforms. Even the trolls, even the ones who have handles that says like troll number 1 or best troll. You guys are fun. Number 2, the Vegas Loop. There's something new opening at the airport, and it's supposed to happen Q1, just coming up here in Las Vegas. And I think it's important to everybody when it comes to transportation in Las Vegas. And just so happens I own a transportation company here for about 10 years. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and what that does for the guest. And then number 3, I want to talk about this congressional hearing. So sometimes we look at Las Vegas at like a micro level and how business is going or doing or what the visitor experience is like. And I want to talk more about the macro level, about hospitality and visitation, kind of like to the U.S. and overall. I think that you will find it very interesting, some of the points that they made, and specifically towards daylight savings time, going to like a permanent daylight savings time, which I find very interesting. Before I get started on number 1, let's make sure we're focused in here. This book, it's called The 4 Agreements. I make no money from selling it. I make no money from promoting it. I make nothing from telling you about it, other than I would like to create better humans. The slogan for Mentor Empire is build better humans, right? So this book called The 4 Agreements, one of my favorite of all time. If you have not read it, read it. If you have not bought it for your teams, get it for your teams. If you have not bought it for your children, get it for your children. This is one of the best books of all time, one of the easiest books to read. And I find that every day when I take these 4 things and apply them, life continues to get better and better. And my favorite one for the day, like today, is always do your best. All right? That's something that no matter what you're doing, do your best. Don't just be a box checker. So, number 1, the comments coming back. You guys, the comments across all 6 social platforms are amazing. And you guys love statements. You love when somebody makes a statement like, Las Vegas will never die. That was one of the number 1 most viewed posts. The statement in itself is an opinion. It's not a fact. So, no, I don't think Vegas will ever die. And that's my opinion. I think that we just have to wait and see how it plays out. And I'll be here with you to watch that happen, because this name and I'm not going away. So you who say Vegas is dead, it's gone, it's dying, I say it's just reinventing itself, and we'll just take this ride together and see how that goes. Number 2, the beauty of AI. One of the most second viewed videos was Here is the Beauty of AI. I was talking about how AI aggregates data, but for some reason the algorithm picked that up and you guys really like that. And I was specifically speaking to fact checking things. Let's give up the secret. I like AI because you can fact check things, but I would also be careful about fact checking inside of AI. So no matter what you hear or see, you still have to do a little research in addition to, and you should also always use reason and be rational. If it seems strange, it might be strange. There's so much fake stuff on the internet. Just to test, I made a comment in one of the threads and I said, Lake Powell is at 98% capacity. Now, as a water guy, as a lake guy, I know that Lake Powell is not at 98% capacity, but I wanted to see if anybody was paying attention. And lucky for me, somebody did come back and they said, it's absolutely not. It's at 30% capacity. And while it's 29 or 28%, absolutely they were correct. What I liked about that exercise is that somebody actually either knew or went and looked. And what we need in this world is when somebody says something, you can't always take it as a fact. You can always take it as their opinion or their perspective or their truth. but you can't take it as a fact. And there's a difference between all of those. I guess what I'm saying is I want those of you who are trying to get good information from good sources, just remember as you're scrolling through the socials, there's a lot of things that are said that are maybe not 100% factual, and everything that is said may be an opinion, it may be a perspective, and it may be a truth. So we'll get to truth here in a second. The next one was Las Vegas has the best food in America. Now again, it's not a fact. It's a statement I made about how I feel about Las Vegas food. So Chicago, whatever's going on in Chicago, you guys had the most people come in and comment and say, no, Chicago has the best food. So I guess I need to do a little more traveling, and I need to go try Chicago and travel around and see if the food is everything that Chicago says it is. But Chicago, just so you know, your people stick up for you. Those are the three things that were probably most commented on. And actually, if I give you the fourth, it was the water crisis. And those videos keep growing, but I made some statements about the water's never going to go away. And a lot of comments came back, and I couldn't believe the amount of people that actually wanted to, number one, talk about the water, but also wanted to throw out a bunch of facts. And like, so if someone's having an argument online and I say something or someone says something, you can jump online and go find a bunch of facts and tout those facts and throw them back. Well, as somebody in the industry, there's a lot of information, and none of those facts are ever 100%. And let's just remember that. So take everything with a grain of salt and read through it. And after time, you'll get a good perspective about what actually may be happening. And I want people to do that because I want people to know that Lake Mead is not empty. Lake Mead actually cannot be empty. The dam was built with concrete, and it was built 650, well, let's say 650 feet above sea level is the bottom of the dam. And then another couple hundred feet, water can't even pass through Hoover Dam. Meaning Lake Mead would have to have a couple hundred feet, maybe 200, maybe 250, 200 feet of water in it that would be stale, if you will. It would be still water. It's called dead pool. It means that the water would flow in and it would just stop. So when I make a statement like Lake Mead will never be gone, it physically can't be gone. So I'm not stating something trying to be a jerk or trying to piss people off. I'm just stating that like the lake can't be gone. The only way the lake can be gone is if they remove the dam and let the river flow again, which we'll talk about at some point is the Glen Canyon Water Project. Or actually it's just called the Glen Canyon Project. And it's about removing Lake Powell, bringing the canyon back to its natural form. Something interesting to watch. So to all the commenters, on all the shorts that are coming across, or the reels, or the quick bites, remember this. We use artificial intelligence. When I say the good thing about artificial intelligence or something helpful about artificial intelligence, what used to take me 10 hours to edit and put out can be done now in about 30 minutes. So from 10 hours to 30 minutes. I want you to think about that. Now here's the thing. AI starts determining what the clips say, or what the hook should be, or what the storyline should be, or what the hashtags should be. I don't sit and choose each of those. AI actually chooses those, determining what it feels you think is best, or what you want, or what is potentially trending. The amount of time, energy, and research it would take to go through to figure out what to do videos on would be forever, which is the promise I made to you is I'm not going to chase the algorithm. I'll use tools in place, but we're going to talk about typical things. We're not going to do stories on things that are trending. We're going to do stories on things that I think are important. And if they happen to pick up or go somewhere, then great. But at least from me to you, that's authentic, and it keeps me from feeding you a bunch of crap. On the responses, on the comments, on the, I think they're called trolls, right? I actually find a lot of funny and fun trolls. They're actually very witty. which is enjoyable. I'm not calling on the trolls. Please don't come get me. I'm not that guy. I'm not here to fight with anybody. I'm just here to have a good time. And don't forget, this is just my therapy session. So I want to try and keep it as positive as possible. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the Vegas loop. I want to play a video actually. Hold on. Here we go. So let me give credit where credit is due on this. And let me pull it up. I reposted it on the page if you want to go see it on the Vegas podcast TikTok page. But I want you to listen to this for a second, okay? And then we'll talk about it.
The Vegas Loop is about to get its biggest expansion ever, and it's going to change the game on public transportation in Las Vegas. It's been a slow grind, but after opening up stations on the Strip, the Vegas Loop is finally going to open an airport station. You'll be able to get from the airport to downtown for $12 in 8 minutes, and from the airport to the convention center for $10 in 5 minutes. The goal is to transport up to 20,000 people per hour at 50 to 80% cheaper than an Uber in a fraction of the time, which puts it on par with the New York City subway. The airport station is set to open in early 2026. The Vegas...
Okay, let's pause that for a second. So that's from TikTok page, CEO of Las Vegas. And just so you know, just to give him credit, CEO of Las Vegas, I'm the VP of Las Vegas. So if you ever want to get together, I'm here for you. So they're saying that the Vegas Loop will do 20,000 people an hour. How many people fit in one of the cars for that Vegas Loop? 4 people fit in Tesla, or do we want to say 5? Do we want to say you put 3 in the back, 1 in the front? Oh, that's still 4. Well, there's no driver. So is it 5? So is it 4 or 5? Let's go with 5. Let's say 3 in the back, 4, 5, 5 in a vehicle. So 20,000 people an hour divided by 5 people in one vehicle. That would mean 4,000 vehicles would be running per hour. And it takes an hour to get there and back. So you'd need at least 8,000 vehicles. So is that saying that 8,000 vehicles are going to be hitting underground Las Vegas? 8,000 vehicles hitting underground Las Vegas. Okay, so hold that thought for a second. So I don't spend a lot of time doing these stories because there's so many people doing these stories, but this one's important to me because this one has to do specifically with transportation. I was in transportation for 10 years. It darn near killed both my partner and I, stress-wise, time-wise, energy-wise, accident-wise. So we just made a decision to walk our way out of that, and we did. But it doesn't mean I wasn't in it for 10 years, and it doesn't mean I don't know the math of the transportation in Las Vegas. So that Vegas Loop, if it can transport 20,000 people an hour, it will absolutely change the surface streets of Las Vegas. At some points on the busy weekends, the surface streets become so busy you can't even move around. Like even getting the limos around, the buses, the Sprinter vans, everything was a challenge. Not to mention that most of the long stretched limos have gone away now. There's only a few companies that run those stretched limousines anymore. Everything kind of went to the executive transportation or more of the 4-door cars like the Teslas, or they went into the Tahoes or the Suburbans or the Escalades, which most of the properties went with as well. So 20,000 people per hour underground, moving from Harry Reid International Airport to all the destinations throughout the Strip. That is an absolute game changer for Las Vegas. And especially when he says $8 to $10 to $12. So $8 to an MGM, $10 to a convention center, $12 to downtown. Do you know that an Uber ride to get downtown without surge pricing, the lowest price you're going to get is probably $20? And the highest price I've seen upwards of $100 or $115 during surge pricing, right? That's where we get into that dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is a scary thing. Dynamic pricing is a capitalistic tool. Okay, like I'm not arguing whether capitalism is good or bad. I live in a capitalistic society. I play the game. Although I'm a recovering marketing executive, I still enjoy the psychology of it. So $8 to $10 to $12 to get from the airport to hotels and casinos will change the face of transportation. The taxi cab system that's around here, what do I see happening? I see less taxis, but I see better service. I see less Uber and Lyfts, but I see better service. I see more limousines. I see enhanced limousine service or bus service. You know, those cars aren't going to fit a group of 20 or 30 people, or you can't jump in two different cars. But the novelty of it will be fun. It'll wear off after a little bit, but you can't beat that cost effectively. Right now in Las Vegas, when I left the business a couple years ago, the lowest hourly rate you could get from the airport out of there would have been $55. It would have been the lowest rate to get a ride out of there in a private car. The highest rate on a bus would probably have been about $250. So anywhere from $50 to $250 to leave Harry Reid International Airport and go somewhere on the Strip if you're renting a personal or private car, or even a taxi for that matter. And so for this mode of transportation to go to $8, $10, or $12, absolute game changer for Las Vegas. I could talk about transportation forever, but what I do want you to hear is three things are going to happen. You're going to have less traffic on the roads above, more people traveling below. Two, you're going to have better service up top. You're going to have better service. There'll be less people in the game, and they'll be essentially fighting over the business up top. So you're going to see them get really good at customer service, the level of hospitality. Maybe we'll start having more in-car services, something unique and different that we've thought about for a long time. And then number three, you're going to have less traffic with the less cars, which could allow for us to shut down the Strip and make it walking only. Now, hold that thought for a second. It's been touted that we could shut the Las Vegas Strip down and make it walking only. Are you for that or against that? Shut the Las Vegas Strip down, make it pedestrian only. Are you for that or against that? Leave that one in the comments. I want to hear about that one. Hold on a second. So that's a real thing that could be happening. And the more transportation that goes underground, it could be a reality, because the back streets of Las Vegas, you can pretty much travel everywhere and do everything getting in and out of the back of the hotels. We did that with our shuttle services for all the outdoor recreation properties. So I think it's a good thing. It says it's going to be opened up in the first quarter. That means 2026, and it's coming right around the corner. So keep your eyes open for the Vegas Loop. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people doing stories on it, but it'll be a public underground transportation system. It's been being constructed by the Boring Company. They've been drilling under Las Vegas for quite a long time. They've actually bought some property all along the airport entrance here. Something's going on, something big's going on, and transportation's about to change in Las Vegas for the better, for everybody. Yes, people who have been professional drivers their whole life, less work is coming. It continues to come. However, if you are the best, if you are really good at what you do, most likely there's going to be a job for you, because these companies want good drivers. I hired drivers for quite a while, and I promise you, good humans don't come easily. Trustworthy, honest, cordial, on time, you name the character traits. But if you're that person, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so that is the Vegas Loop being done by the Boring Company. I'm excited about it. I don't know how they're going to transport 20,000 people an hour, but we will wait and see and take a look at it. So with that, I want to get into some of the congressional stuff that I was talking about, for hospitality specific. So if you're a hospitality professional, you may really enjoy some of this and save you about 3 hours looking or sitting and listening to the congressional hearing that happened not too long ago. So number one, let's say this. The Committee on Energy and Commerce is the oldest standing legislative committee established in 1795 in the U.S. House of Representatives, and is vested with the broadest jurisdiction of any congressional authorizing committee. I find that very interesting, especially since it's about energy and commerce. Energy and commerce, and America is energy and commerce. So it's no wonder they have the broadest jurisdiction. So there were 4 people that showed up on this panel, and I am not of politics. I work with the government in different capacities and fashions, but I'm not of politics, and I don't typically go one side or the other. I go with like the human side every single time, and whoever's on the human side, I'm typically with them. But there were 4 people that showed up. One was the CEO of America Hotel and Lodging Association, Rosanna Maeda, and she was fantastic. And I'll quote some of Rosanna's stuff. The second is Lisa Simon, who is the International Inbound Travel Association representative. And I think I just got to run into her in Chicago at an event that happened there. Then there was the CEO, Jay Karen, from the National Golf Course Owners, which was very unique. And then Dr. Kleppe was an associate professor from the state of Kentucky, who I found quite interesting. He actually was doing a study on corporate earnings in relation to like daylight savings time, which all in all, I think is more what this congressional hearing was about or part of. It just happened to have the hospitality executives there speaking about it. And then all of the senators, I won't say them all by name, none of them have something to say, had something to say that was quite interesting to learn a little bit about them. So let's say this. California still leads in tourist spending or visitation with over $100 billion in spending. California leads with over $100 billion in spending. New York, $73.6 billion. Florida, $96 billion. Texas, $83 billion, which actually surprised me because Texas has matched Las Vegas almost exactly. So Texas and Las Vegas spending, by visitor spending, exactly the same. Pennsylvania, $46 billion. Illinois, $43 billion. Tennessee, $24 billion, which I find strange that Tennessee only had $24 billion because I believe it is home to our #1 national park in America. Expected more out of Tennessee from a spending perspective due to that #1 national park in America. So Nevada had $83 billion in spending in 2019, which I thought was pre-pandemic, right? Which climbed to $87 billion in 2024. So Las Vegas welcomed 41.7 million visitors in 2024, which represents an increase up 2.1% from 40.8, or let's just say 41. So 41 to 42. So it's like 1 million visitors. It's probably just kind of a math equation. It's amazing how you could sway 1 million visitors here or there, or what you count, or whether you put it above or below the line. So we could have been flat from 24 to 20 or 23 to 24. We could have been up 1 million. We could have been down 1 million. I'd say it's subjective. I'd say it's a little bit about perspective and how you do the math, because I understand how it works. So, but let's just say it was up slightly or flat. For all you that are saying Las Vegas is dead, those 40 million people didn't think it was dead. So now let's talk about some other things that affect everybody in the United States. So let's talk about some things that I learned. I'm going to give you some information I came across. No tax on tips affects 800,000 employees across the United States. Is that helping you guys? Is the no tax on tips helping everybody? I'd like to know that if you could tell me. That's a big deal, and I want to know more about that. I want to know more about the American Franchise Act. I don't know anything about that, but I'm going to look into that and bring it to you. Rosanna Maeda made this one, and she made a statement that America remains the most hospitable in the world. Would you argue that? America remains the most hospitable in the world. and she was specifically speaking to marketing America to the rest of the world, what our messaging should be and how we should do that. I would be curious as to what you say about that. But let's get into a few things that Rosanna also said. The Hotel and Lodging Association unifies the voices of the nation's hotels. Hotels are the heart of travel. $900 billion annually with 2 million workers. So the hotels, $900 billion annually with 2 million workers. She's saying 1 in 25 jobs in the nation are in the hotel and lodging. She also stated that insurance cost and interest rates have gone up 4 times since the pandemic. I can attest to that. I had a transportation company. The insurance cost, what started out at $30,000 went to $60,000. From $60,000 went to $120,000. From $120,000 to $240,000 per year to insure vehicles. From $30,000 to $240,000. So when you guys think that the businesses and cities are getting greedy and they're trying to take more money from you, that's not what's happening. What's happening is they continue to have to pass the cost down on to the client. That's a reality. Otherwise, you can't be in business. That's a reality too. They could go out of business if they didn't pass the cost and they just ate them. They could just go out of business. I get that. But what's happening is you're seeing the cost being passed on, and insurance being one of the biggest. So I would give the companies or the corporations, or I see a lot of people say the big bad corporations, they're robbing everybody and they're greedy. There are elements of greed throughout the world and throughout businesses, but there are a lot of companies that are not greedy and are just doing good business. And I can attest to that because I work with some of those. So they're out there. Find the right company, find a company that does right by people and do business with them, all right? So Brand USA is the marketing company that the United States government hires to market America to the rest of the world. So America pays, and get this, I didn't know this number. America pays $80 million, I believe, annually. I'll have to double check, but I think so. America pays $80 million to a company to market America to the rest of the world. That money was cut a lot, which makes it challenging for us to market ourselves to the world if this company isn't doing it specifically. Now, I don't know how many companies there are. I don't know how many competitors there are in that space that could take down marketing America. I know a few people here in Las Vegas that I think could take on the challenge and are pretty darn good at it, because I'd like to think Las Vegas is one of the best at marketing. But Brand USA's funding was cut, and they are looking to get that funding back. It's an important thing. So look it up, see what's going on with it. I'm not sure it's something we can vote on. I think it's something Congress votes on to fund them. But when you look at Las Vegas from a macro level instead of a micro level, we need international tourists and travel. And the only way to get that is for someone to be marketing us overseas to the international clientele. It's hard to even think about numbers anymore when it comes to the world. When I was growing up, you could manifest or think of $1 million or 5 million or 10 million, or somebody was a millionaire. You could grasp it, you could feel it. Now we're just talking billions and trillions, and we're on our way past trillions, I'm assuming. But 1.3 billion in lost revenue for the shutdown. In the macro scheme of things, it's a lot of money. In my pocketbook, it's a lot of money. In the pocketbook of what's going on in the world, it's not a ton of money, but it definitely had an impact. And again, that's subjective and objective. That is my opinion on whether it is or is not a lot of money. H-2B visa proponent. Okay. Rosanna was an H-2B visa proponent. And I think it's important, and she felt it was important, and the Hotel and Lodging Association feels that it's important that the H-2B visa program is in place. And essentially what that allows is it allows workers legally to come from overseas, other countries, come to America, work, learn something, potentially stay here, be a protege, work under someone, and have that opportunity. If you want to talk about like the American dream, getting a visa to come over here to work for a company, doing it well, and then being able to stay here because of that, I think that's cool. Whether it's right or wrong, I have no say, but I think that's very cool. So H-2B visa is important conversation right now. This was a good statistic. 60% of American hotels are franchises. When I was growing up, it used to be the Patel family. And that's just naming something, not putting something in a box. I'm just naming what it was. The Patels owned a lot of hotels throughout the West Coast growing up when we traveled. But now 60% of American hotels are franchises. And there's some sort of pass-through reduction act or bill 199 that's important that I need to look into, but I found that very intriguing. So next was Lisa Simon, International Inbound Travel Association. This one I found very important too. So Lisa Simon said that hospitality and tourism is a vital American export. It's actually, it works towards a trade balance contribution, which I didn't know. A trade balance contribution. I didn't know that. So mega events like the Olympics, FIFA, World Cup, that kind of stuff, very important to us, big events. She also stated that I remember, that, didn't take notes on this, but she said, we were looking for a pre-COVID recovery after 2019 or 2020 in about 4 to 5 years. That's what most people were calling it. As we're going into 2026 now, they're actually pushing that out to 2029. And while they say that the big mega events like the World Cup, which is FIFA, the Olympics, while they're saying these things are going to be extremely helpful, they're still not seeing a recovery. They're pushing it out. That's a little bit concerning. Overall, like when we talk about foreign travel, and the foreign travelers just aren't coming back yet, and we know there's some policies at play that are not helpful to that, and I'll get into those. But yeah, that's a lot more years. I mean, it's going to continue to be a ride that you're going to see. You're going to see some challenges still with overseas travel. So geopolitical relations, as you will. Lisa also said that the rest of the world is growing. Uh-oh, that's a big one. So not just Las Vegas. If Las Vegas sees a decline from 24 to 25, it's a macro issue. It's not a Vegas is dead issue or Vegas is doing everything wrong issue. It's the United States is seeing a decline. We're the only major country predicted to decline for 2025. That's kind of nuts. But I get it. It's indicative of the situation that we're in and what's going on. Now, will it remain like this forever? No. Things change. It will adjust. We will fix it. We're all human and we all want to solve problems on a daily basis. So we'll solve it. There are some expenses that have surged. There is a $250 visa integrity fee and a $185 visa application fee. And Lisa Simon is saying that the application fee was like $40 or $60 and it's doubled, which is problematic. And then this new $250 integrity fee. And then there's another fee involved. And she's essentially saying that these fees are hurting us, whereas someone can travel to a different country for a lot less than they can travel to us. So we have to look at those fees and be cognizant of those and decide whether they're going to be beneficial for us or not. You know, it's the same thing as going into charging foreigners more to visit our state or national parks than locals. That's a decision that is being made, has been made. Don't know the facts on it. Not going to say anything about it. Have opinions on it, but I'll leave those alone for now because the opinion police will come out and get me, which they're really good. Overall long-term strategic look over the next 4 to 5 years currently is optimistic. So know that. So I just want to say also, Lisa Simon, great job. Excellent. Way to represent the International Inbound Travel Association. Very impressive. Now we get to the CEO, Jay Karen, National Golf Course Owners. Okay, National Golf Course Owners. $102 billion industry. Solid. The coolest thing I saw about it is it produces $5 billion in charity, more than any other sport combined. Golf produces $5 billion in charity, more than any other sport combined. I thought that was really neat. Not to mention that golf is an outdoor green space activity, which I'm very excited about. 665,000 jobs as a Las Vegas resident, native. I couldn't call myself native, sorry. 30-year transplant. There's a lot of golf in Las Vegas. There's a lot of great golf in Las Vegas. We have water problems and water restrictions, and our number one non-recycled water is landscape, which makes it hard for golf courses. So we'll keep tiptoeing around that subject, I guess. It's an economic driver. So it's a conversation. It's very strange. I find that one unique. There are social and mental health benefits to golf. Yes, we know that. Okay, Dr. Klepper, associate. He did a bunch of studies. What I found interesting to this is he was doing studies like academic perspective on permanent daylight savings time. I'm wondering why it's taking so long to decide. Daylight savings time, or more light during the day while you're up and active or after work, is better for human health, and the process by which they're judging it is good for your circadian rhythm. There's an economic argument to the human health benefit of daylight savings time. Well, I'm going to make another bold statement that you're going to come after me for, but I'm making it. Economic benefit, health benefit to humans. Choose humans. This is no longer a conversation. The data is undeniable that it is better for the human body and mind to go one way or the other. Your choice is simple. Any choice against is probably some of the reasons that we have challenges in the world today. That statement's going to get me in trouble, but I made it, and I'm sticking to it. Chad Taylor, Vegas Podcast, founder and creator of the Mentor Empire. Go get yourself some mentor gear. 15 years in the making. I had to fight one of the industry giants to win my USPTO for this. So please go check it out. A whole story about that to come soon. Make sure you subscribe and continue being a good human. Honesty, understanding, morals, authenticity, and nobility.